All right, so are you ready for this? We're diving deep today into Surah At-Tur,
Oh, absolutely.
the 52nd chapter of the Quran.
Yeah?
This one is known for its vivid imagery and powerful message. It's really something.
It is, and it's interesting you chose this one because it really grabs you from the first verse.
Oh, yeah.
It opens with a series of oaths, each invoking, a striking image, a mountain, a book inscribed on a scroll, a bustling house, a towering roof, even the churning sea.
Wow. I can see how those images would really make you sit up and pay attention. It's more than just grabbing your attention, though, right?
Right. These images weren't just chosen at random. They would have resonated very deeply with the original audience, grounding the message in a familiar yet awe-inspiring element of their world. Mountains, for example, often symbolize strength and stability, even divine presence in many cultures.
Like Mount Sinai, where Moses received the Ten Commandments.
Exactly.
It creates a sense of anticipation for something really monumental.
Precisely. And then you have the inscribed book pointing to revealed knowledge, divine wisdom being communicated to humanity. It really sets the stage for a message of great significance.
So it's connecting the earthly and the divine right from the start.
Absolutely.
And then it seems to take a sharp turn towards warnings of judgment and the day of reckoning.
Yes. Verses 7 through 11, and then later verses 17 through 16 paint a very vivid picture of this day.
Yeah.
We see the heavens, swaying mountains, moving utter chaos and upheaval. The imagery really drives home the magnitude of what is being described.
Yeah, it's definitely not subtle. And this theme of judgment and accountability seems to be an echo throughout the Quran, right?
Absolutely. It's a consistent reminder that our actions have consequences.
Yeah, right.
But it's not all doom and gloom.
Right.
Surah At-Tur then contrasts the fate of those who deny truth with the rewards that are awaiting those who believe.
Oh, okay.
And this is where it gets really fascinating.
Yeah, the descriptions of suffering of hell versus gardens and bliss are pretty stark. The imagery for paradise is especially vivid.
It is. The surah paints a detailed picture of the rewards for the faithful, enjoying provisions from their Lord, feasting, drinking happily, relaxing on luxurious furnishings, and even being reunited with their believing offspring. It emphasizes the importance of family and legacy, not just individual reward.
It sounds almost like a wish list come true. Peace, abundance, everything you could desire.
And then there's this beautiful detail in verse 24, where youthful attendants are described as serving the righteous like hidden pearls.
That's an interesting choice of words. What do you make of that?
Well, it speaks to the preciousness and purity of the experience, a level of care and attention that is just beyond our imagination. It really pulls out all the stops to emphasize the contrast between these ultimate destinations.
Okay, so we've got these powerful images of judgment and reward, really driving home the gravity of our choices. But then the surah seems to shift gears a bit and offers reassurance directly to the Prophet Muhammad.
Right. Verses 29-32 address the Prophet, reminding him that he's not a soothsayer or a madman, but a messenger chosen to deliver a divine message. This must have been really important given the resistance that he was facing at the time.
Oh, I can imagine. Throughout history, prophets have often faced rejection and even persecution.
Absolutely.
These verses seem to be offering him some solace and validation.
Exactly. They reinforce the legitimacy of his mission, especially when facing such doubt and opposition. And then the surah turns its attention to those who are doubting the message, challenging them directly in verses 33-44.
Yeah, it seems like it's saying, if you don't believe this message, then produce something similar or prove your skepticism. It's a pretty bold challenge.
It is, and it's not about forcing belief, but...
Yes. Verses 36-38, for example, question the certainty of those who disbelieve, contrasting their doubts with the assurance of divine knowledge. But at the same time, it seems to acknowledge that doubt exists and that people might struggle with questions of belief.
It's a surprisingly nuanced perspective, wouldn't you say? It really resonates with the human experience even today. We all wrestle with these questions of faith and doubt.
Absolutely. Yeah, it does. It's like, it's okay to question, to grapple with these ideas, but there's also this underlying affirmation of a higher truth.
Right, a truth that transcends our limited understanding.
Okay.
And this brings us to the final verses of the surah, where the focus shifts to the importance of patience and praise.
Verses 48 and 49 specifically. They encourage patience, especially when facing adversity, and they emphasize the importance of praising God, not just when you wake, but throughout the night.
These practices hold deep significance in the Islamic tradition. Patience is seen as a virtue, a source of strength when facing challenges. And praising God is an act of acknowledging His power, mercy, and guidance in our lives. It seems like the surah ends on a note of quiet reflection and devotion.
A call to inner peace amidst the chaos of the world.
Perhaps.
It's been quite a journey unpacking all of this, from the captivating imagery to the stark warnings, from the promises of paradise to the challenges of doubt.
It has. And through it all, we see these recurring themes of divine power, human responsibility, and the importance of seeking truth and meaning in our lives.
Right.
What stands out to you from all of this? What resonates most with you personally?
That's a good question. I think the power of those opening images is really striking. They're not just there for poetic effect, are they?
Not at all. Each image is carefully chosen to evoke specific ideas and emotions. We talked about the mountain and the book, but what about the frequented house?
You mentioned that scholars believe this could refer to the Kaaba in Mecca, a sacred site even before Islam. It's tapping into this pre-existing sense of reverence and pilgrimage.
Exactly. It connects the message to a place already imbued with deep spiritual significance for the audience.
Yeah.
Then you have the elevated roof, which might symbolize heaven or the divine throne.
Further emphasizing the idea of transcendence and a higher power overlooking all things.
Right.
And finally, the seething sea, perhaps representing the raw power and unpredictability of nature.
Precisely. It could even foreshadow the tumultuous events of the Day of Judgment, that sense of upheaval and transformation. You see, these images are carefully woven into the fabric of the surah, adding depth and meaning to the message.
It's like a tapestry where each thread contributes to the overall design. This attention to detail seems to be a hallmark of the Quran, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. The Quran is renowned for its linguistic beauty and rich imagery. It's meant to be pondered, recited, and absorbed on multiple levels. It's not just about the literal meaning of the words, but the feelings and associations that they evoke.
So it's about experiencing the text with all your senses, not just reading it intellectually.
Right.
And that brings us back to those contrasting descriptions of paradise and hell.
Yeah.
Those vivid depictions, they're not just meant to be taken literally, are they?
No. They're symbolic representations of spiritual states. Paradise symbolizes ultimate peace, fulfillment, and closeness to God, while hell represents the opposite separation from God, spiritual anguish, and the consequences of a life that lacks meaning and purpose.
It's not just saying believe or else, is it? It's about understanding the impact of our choices and how they shape our destiny.
Both in this life and the next.
Right.
Yeah.
And let's not forget those verses that challenge those who doubt the message.
Right.
It seems to encourage critical thinking and genuine inquiry.
It does. It's not about blind faith or silencing dissent. It's about fostering genuine dialogue and grappling with those deeper truths. I find that incredibly powerful because it acknowledges that doubt is a natural part of the human experience.
Especially when confronted with profound concepts like these.
Exactly.
That's where the emphasis on patience comes in.
Right.
The path to faith isn't always easy.
It's not.
It requires perseverance and a willingness to wrestle with uncertainty.
It does.
It's about embracing the journey even when it's messy and challenging.
Yes.
And finally, there's that beautiful message of praise. Even in the face of challenges and doubts, we're reminded to focus on gratitude and find solace in the remembrance of God.
It's like finding that inner stillness amidst the storm. That sense of peace that comes from knowing that you're not alone, that there's a higher power guiding and supporting you.
It makes you wonder, though, if the Surah were being revealed today, our modern world, what kind of imagery do you think it would use to get its message across?
Now that's a thought-provoking question. The core themes, divine power, judgment, the consequences of our actions, the importance of seeking truth, those are timeless and universal.
Right.
But the specific images that are used to convey those themes might be quite different if the surah were revealed today.
Instead of a mountain, maybe it would be a skyscraper. Still representing grand achievement, but also our potential for hubris.
I like that. Or instead of a scroll, perhaps, a digital code.
Yeah.
Symbolizing the vastness of information that's at our fingertips, but also the challenge of discerning truth from falsehood in the digital age.
And maybe instead of the seething sea, it would be a raging wildfire or a melting glacier, representing the power of nature unleashed and the consequences of our actions on the environment.
Those images would certainly resonate with a modern audience and connect those timeless messages to the issues that we face today. It's fascinating how these ancient texts can still speak to us across the centuries,
offering guidance and inspiration for navigating the complexities of human existence. It seems to me that Surah At-Tur goes beyond just describing the fates of believers and non-believers.
It does.
There's a deeper message about the very nature of belief and disbelief itself.
I agree. It's not just about adhering to a specific set of doctrines or performing certain rituals. It's about cultivating a heart that's open to truth,
Right.
a mind that's willing to question and explore, and a spirit that's anchored in something greater than ourselves.
Yeah, it really does make you think about those deeper questions. What does it mean to truly believe? What are the consequences of our beliefs? Not just in some abstract sense,
Right.
but how we live our lives every day.
Those are powerful questions to reflect on. Surah At-Tur reminds us that our choices, our actions, and yes, even our beliefs have consequences that ripple outward. They shape who we are in the world that we create around us.
It's a sobering thought, but also empowering in a way.
Right.
It means we have the ability to influence our own destiny and the destiny of the world through the choices that we make and the beliefs that we hold.
Exactly. Surah At-Tur isn't just a historical text. It's a living document that speaks to the human condition across time. It challenges us to examine our own hearts and minds.
As we wrap up this deep dive, is there one key takeaway that you would leave our listener with? Something to ponder as they go about their day?
I think the most important thing is to remember that the journey of faith and understanding is ongoing. It's not about having all the answers, but about cultivating a spirit of curiosity, humility, and a willingness to keep seeking.
To embrace the questions even when they're difficult.
Precisely. So as you move forward from this deep dive, keep asking yourself, what truths are you embracing? What doubts are you wrestling with? And how are your beliefs shaping your journey?
Those are powerful questions to carry with us. Thanks for joining us on this incredible exploration of Surah At-Tur. Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep exploring the boundless depths of knowledge that surround us.